Video segment is for showing people how to create an INP file if they're using the 3D Experience's FEA solver, which is actually the ABAQUS, Simulia ABAQUS program. Okay. Now, after I go through the very simple example, I will come back and review that through showing you the sequence of steps uh, through the PowerPoint presentation, okay? So right now, it's going to be the video on how I do this thing by doing this very simple problem, okay? All right, that being the case, let's go to 3D Experience and model this thing. It's a shell problem, very simple shell problem. Left end is clamped, right end is subjected to a shell edge load. And I'm going to make only two elements just so that you can see the INP file and it's not very long. All right. Remember, this is not rocket science, but it's not obvious either. All right, so we go to 3D platform. Let's start with a part file. And on that vertical plane, I will sketch a line that is 100 millimeters long. 100 millimeters long. Exit and extruded. Now, being in a part design, I don't have surfaces, so I can go to generative shape design. And I'm going to go on the surface and I'm going to extrude, except that the direction, I'll do it along the X direction. Maybe, let me see for a second. Yeah, Y direction. 200 meters, 200 millimeters long. Okay, good. So let's apply our material to this thing. So we go to Tools, create a material. I'll call it Steel INP Video. Okay. Let's see, somewhere in there. Okay, right there. So I'm going to apply. We close that, apply it to that, and then we're going to input the values. So it's right here. Double click. It says Young's modulus and Poisson ratio. Structures. I don't need the density because I'm going to be doing a static analysis. But anyway, just to see it in the INP file, let's do that. So we go 7850, for example. Actually 000. Okay, and then we go under ABAQUS multiphysics, mechanical elasticity. Under elastic, it's 200 gigapascal or 200,000 megapascal, and Poisson ratio is 0.3. You say okay, and we have our material all specified. Okay, so now what we're going to do is how we're going to go mesh this thing. So we go to structural model, structural model creation, and MTFEM. Okay, this is shell element, so we're going to go to meshing. We use a quad shell, quadrilateral linear, and I'm going to put the size to be to 100 millimeters. That means this is going to be divided into two elements. Oh yeah, I'll have to take the support. And there's your two elements. We say okay. We also need the properties, shell property. Click on it. Okay, so we're going to put it on the entire surface. Okay, and the thickness of the shell, I think I said 10 millimeters. Good. So notice that now we have nodes and elements. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create the INP file, but it is going to be obviously, it's going to be just the nodes and elements and material properties. Okay, there are no loads here, there are no boundary conditions. We're going to do that later on. So what we do is we go to save, right here, we go up here, right corner, and we're going to go to export, okay, and we're going to say uh, export FEM. The only thing is that it's going to come back with a message saying that, hey, in order to do this, you have to update the FEM. Now, if I had already saved that, saved whatever I've done so far, I probably would not get this thing. But let's go ahead and say yes. Go on, update it. Okay, there we are. So this thing pops up. It says, okay. First of all, the INP file that you want me to create, what are the units? So we can leave it as, for example, millimeter. The coordinates are going to be millimeter. Uh, you know, if there was a mass density of, well, the mass is going to be in tons, etc. So I'll just leave it the way it is, okay? And it's obviously structural. And then it says, where do you want me to put this thing? So we're going to go click on that, and I'm gonna go to a folder which I created, and I called it INP. Let's see if I can find this thing. Or creating INP file, and I'm gonna give it a name. I just say just the mesh. So it's gonna be an incomplete obvious mesh and obviously material. Okay, now notice that the extension type is INP. That's what I want to keep it. There is another option, but we don't want to do that. We just want to use INP. Now, when it creates this, it's going to be not a text file, so you have to open it with a text editor, okay? So we say, okay, that was the name that's given. Say, okay. Now, and export. We have to say export right here. Export. All right. Now, there is your INP file. Let's open this thing. There we are. Just the nodes, elements, connectivity, etc. And so let me quickly review for you what we did. We started at the top right corner under this arrow, export. We clicked on the export. And from the menu that we get, we chose export FEM. And this thing pops up, and then it tells you that, look, in order for you to do this, you must update your model. If I had already saved this thing, saved the model, in all likelihood, I would not get this message, but I'll say yes. So when you do that, this guy pops up, okay? And you're gonna go and, first of all, you set your unit, the units in which the INP file is to be written in, of course, the incomplete INP file, and then you select the location. So I selected the location from this folder, okay, uh, and this thing comes up. Once you set the location, you say export, otherwise it writes it in the default position, which I don't know where it is. Export, and then when it says successful, you just close the dialog box. And if you go to that folder where I specified creating an INP file, that file is created, but it has extension INP. So in order to open it, you really have to use the right click, open with text editor or something like that. Okay, so here is your INP file, but it just stops there. There's nothing after that because I did not apply the load and the boundary conditions, etc. So that comes next, okay? So create a scenario with loads and boundary conditions and then run it, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's go back to our model right there. We're going to go to, let me quickly save this. Okay, we now go to the uh, structural scenario creation. Because I'm doing a static problem, that's all I need. And then it's structural, obviously, it's the model that we created, remember, made of two elements. All right, so we go to procedure, static step, and I'm going to uncheck the nonlinearity here because that's really not the point of this video. And then we apply our boundary conditions. So it's going to be clamping this left edge. So I'm going to do it like that. I can clamp it, but the other option is, of course, making all of these zero, restrain all of them, and that's support. If you can't pick that edge, that's because the sketch is hiding your view. So right-click, hide the sketch, and now I bet you can select that edge. Okay, and we say all right. And then the boundary, the load is going to be shell edge load. So here's the shell edge load. You select that. And in the other direction, I think I had it in the slide minus 10,000. Minus 10,000 Newton. Newton underscore meter, yeah. It changes because I did not change the default unit here. It changes this weird unit, which is the same thing. Say OK. Good. Now, let's actually save this thing. Right. So let's see now. We have created and then we're gonna run it. So let me go ahead and run it. So let's do a model check. That's very quick. A simulation check to pick up any possible obvious errors. Incidentally, there may be other ways of getting the INP file, but this is my strategy of doing it. Let's wait for a second. It's a very simple problem, linear. Of course, it's just doing the checking right now. It's not even running yet. There is a warning here. It really doesn't matter. I suggest people read these things, but okay, that's done. And finally, we're going to run it. Say, okay, run it. Now it's going to run and get the results. Okay. There's going to be two increments, the initial increment and then the actual run. Uncheck the nonlinearity, therefore it's not going to be taking it in too many increments. It just does it in two shots basically, or one shot. Okay, so okay, done. We close that. This is the initial step, and this is, of course, after you stretch it. Fine. All right. So now we go with the rest of the stuff. I want the full IMP file. Incidentally, yeah, I want the full IMP file. So I go to, again, same spot, export. Okay. That's fine. So let's do a save. Let's do a save. Okay. So we go to that spot, export. Now, this is for the XML file, and I don't want to do that. I go back here under export, Don't double click on it, because when you double click on it, double left click, that XML thingy pops up. So again, I get the menu and I say export simulation. All right. Once again, location. So location, this is where IMP file is going to be created. This is when it's going to create the full IMP file. So I go select that same location and I say the complete IMP file. Complete IMP file. Okay? Not just the mesh and everything. You say, notice that the extension is type.imp. So you have to open it with a text editor. You say, okay. And don't forget to click on export, because that was just setting the location. Good. And then close it. So let's go ahead and find out where that thing is. So right there, this was the old one, just the mesh and the material, and this is the complete one. Right click, open with Notepad, and there you are. So we had it up to this location last time. Now we have the step, we have the boundary conditions, etc., etc. Okay, so we had it up to this point last time, and the loads and things like that are down here. Edge load and fixed boundary condition. Now I'm going to close this. All right, now as far as the INP is concerned, that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the XML file in case you need it. So I'm going to close that. Let's go here. Just left double click on this. Okay, it says here is the XML on a disk. Okay, and I think we can set our location here. Location, not this one. If I want to put in the same location as the other one, I call creating on IMP. Oh, hang in there. Yeah, that's what I want. Hang in there. Okay, that's good. And location is there, so that's the name of it. You say okay. I didn't have to set the location. Let's go find out if it's there. Looks like it's going to my OneDrive, but that's fine. This can take some time if it's a big problem. I mean, this is done on the cloud. Okay, so here we are. It says successful. And let me see, what else do we want here? And if there's something called here open report. That's the report that's generated by the software is right here. Okay, it's nothing that I'm interested in, but anyway. So here's what happened. First of all, let's find out where it put it. I think it must have put it in the same. It must be on my desktop somewhere. %, complete. Okay, let's check it. Oh, right here, right here, right here. Okay, so let's quickly review what we have done. Let's go back there. We ran it. We went to the same location, upper right corner. Click on export simulation. This guy popped up. This is for creating IMP. I specified the location, that folder. Just went there, the complete IMP folder. And you can open it with Notepad. And it looked like that. Now to create your IMP file, you go back to the same location, double click on this. Okay, I think when I did it, I got this error, so I said that's why I saved it. Yes, yes. And then double click on it, no problem. This guy popped up, and remember I had a problem putting in that folder, select location. When I did select the location, it came back with the extension IMP, which I didn't like. Yeah, and there we are. Now there's also a short video which is dating to about maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it's about some of the stuff. It parallels what I did. I have a little bit more here through an example, but anyway, if you want more information, this is 5 years old and things change very rapidly, and you may want to consult this. Okay, good luck.